Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
So, are you ready for Thanksgiving?
Almost. Still got some patio cleanup. The nice thing about doing Thanksgiving up north is you don't have to worry about your patio and your landscaping, but
Yes, but the nice thing about doing it in Florida is you can wear shorts.
right. Yep.
This is a
Yep.
typical Thanksgiving weather forecast for Sarasota and Manatee counties. And right now, we're going to give you not a forecast, but a look at the Sarasota and Manatee counties real estate market reports. So let's get to it. Judy, go ahead and give us the stats on Manatee County.
All right, Manatee County. So for single family homes, again, we're looking at October 2025. We had 595 closed sales. That is up 26.8% year over year. However, we did have a few storms and crazy stuff last year. So year over year is a tough comparison. And in September, we had 662 sales. So we're down 9% on closed transactions. 27% of our home sales were cash sales. Median price is $481,000. That's up 0.2% year over year, so pretty stable. And September was 470. So again, more or less stable, not a great difference. Time to contract was 55 days. So from the time you put that sign in your yard and put it in MLS, it's taking 55 days. That is actually down 8% from last year. In September, it was 60 days, so it's also down from in September. Supply, we have 4.2 months of supply, fairly balanced, and it's up 7.7% from last year. So we definitely have more supply now than we did a year ago. And we were at 4.2 months in September. For condos and townhomes, we had 175 closed sales, which is up 8% year over year. We had 216 closed sales in September, so we're down almost 19% month to month on closed transactions. 17.5% of those transactions were in cash. In September, we had 55%, which seems really high for our area. So 17, 18, 19 is pretty common. The median price for condos and townhomes was 292,500. That's down minus 10.8%. And it's also down from 296.5 in September, down about 1.3%. Time to contract for condos is much longer, a little more complications there. And there are 86 days to contract for condos and townhomes. That's up 14.7%, down 92 days. Let me go. But that's down 92 days, 0.65 from September, so fairly similar. Supply, we are at 6.3 months supply, definitely up from last year. And we were at 6.3 months supply in September as well. So our supply is balancing, which is good. We just need to get them sold and get everybody back down here. So overall, that's where we are. Personally, I am talking to a few more new buyers. So that is enlightening. Hopefully, we'll have a few more things close and get these numbers up.
Okay. Well, Sarasota County has shown 668 sales, which is again a 29.7% increase from last year. But last year we had that series of storms that delayed closings, that stopped sales. So
Stopped insurance from writing. So if
exactly,
you have
we
insurance
are
and you have a mortgage, you can't close.
right. So we saw that increase based on the year over year numbers, but we have a September number of 646 was down 22 sales, which is down 3% from last month. In the median price for the October sales was 445,000, which was down over 9% from last year. But it's also down a little tiny bit from last month. It was 450 last month, so we went down a percent. That's not a big one. We had an increase to 61 days for time to contract in October, And in September, it was 445 days. No, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my numbers. In September, it was 108 days. So we're not talking about a big decrease from month to month. 7.5 months of inventory for October is a big, huge 36% increase from last year, but only a small increase from last month. So we see the condo market increasing from last year, of course, but the number of sales also increased from September. So that's about 16%. We see a median sale price of $310,000 that went down 19.5% from last year, but $315,000 sale price in September down to $310,000 is just about a 5% decrease. So we see the days on market for condos, as Judy said, a little more complicated because there's a lot of documents that are required. Sometimes there are delays in getting that information from the condo owner or the condo association. Lots of paperwork there that needs to be provided and reviewed. We have 7.5 months of inventory, which is up 36% from last year and up a little bit from the September figure of 6.8 months. So we're definitely in a buyer's market for our condos in Sarasota. And we included the last month's numbers because we don't follow the trends. Nationally, you'll see numbers that are way different from our numbers. The national media median sales price that was reported by Redfin only showed a 1.2% increase, and that number is $439,701. So we just don't follow the national trends. And sales for nationally went up just 2%. So here again, this speaks to our market, the desirability and the resilience of this market. But we did want to talk about the month to month for the last 6 months in terms of the number of sales and in terms of the median prices. Judy, you have that chart pulled up
I
that
do.
you can refer to? Okay,
Yep.
so
I got one of them.
okay, so you have the
I've got the
numbers.
monthly closed sales first.
Okay, talk about that.
So as you can see, they're trending downward. So the number of transactions, and this is just 6 months. So one thing to note is we also have a seasonal market, and a lot of people, we have a lot more volume in transactions in the 6 months coming up than we do in this snapshot. But things were trending down or stabilizing. Again, we're seeing a lot of stabilizing happening. Manatee County is the red line, Sarasota is the blue lines. So, but yeah, still a little off from 6 months ago.
Well, and in Sarasota, it's basically following the same trends. We both started up around that 785 mark, and we're down. Sarasota's down in the single family home sales to 668.
Right.
That is 100 less, just about. But it's not a terrible picture to look at. And so the stability that you see especially in the last 3 months is evident for the number of closed sales in single family homes, as well as condo sales. It's basically flat from August to October. So let's look at the prices. The median sales price chart for the last 6 months.
So, yeah, so for Manatee County single family homes, we're actually up, or I would say still kind of stable, because we've kind of stayed in that same plane for the home sale prices.
It looks really
Or,
stable to me.
yeah, yeah. And then our condos have kind of gone up and down a little bit, but not drastically. So they are down slightly from over 300,000 in May to now in the mid to high twos. So yeah, it's kind of stabilizing a little bit.
Looks like
We
it
don't
to
see them
me.
going back. The people that are trying to again get the 2022 prices, those are gone. So yeah.
Right.
So.
Pretty much the same thing when you look at the 6-month picture for the median price sales in Sarasota. However, a little more variability in the up and down, and we did see a dramatic decrease since August from that 475 median home price to 445. So what's going on there? I think that Sarasota is looking back to June, and we're, if you take out that bump up there in August, it's pretty much, it's very, very close to the same. The condo market elevation in June is interesting. Judy and I were talking about that as we looked at this chart, and we're wondering what opened and what might have closed in the luxury market.
Right. We had a couple notable luxury condo towers start, like the St. Regis is one. And I don't know on that version of Longboat if that's the Sarasota side or the Manatee side. I think it's the Sarasota side. So we've had things, something big might have opened, or just a cluster of things. We did have some notable sales on some of the keys in the barrier islands. So
right. And so going from August to October, we see an increase in our prices in Sarasota. Not a lot, $10,000 in the median sale price.
Right.
But it did come up a little bit from August. So we think that look at the 6 months and back is a little more telling about our market here in Sarasota. It's very hyper local, however. It can be very different based on what's happened in the neighborhood. For instance, there was one sale that was on the market for a long time, and something changed in that seller's life, and boom, he just basically said, just get me an offer. And so that price point really went down in a major way. And so the following 2 sales were affected. Maybe that's all we're looking at, is just one sale that might skew the prices for the coming sales, because that's what we're looking at when we look at trying to assess the value of a property. Your last 6 months of sales are what matter. And the algorithms, I have to say this, the algorithms for Zillow and for Redfin and for Realtor.com are not matching what we're seeing in this neighborhood. So here again, what does that mean, Judy?
Get somebody that knows the area.
Exactly. And Judy's our Parrish and Manatee County expert, and I'm your Sarasota expert. But we work together, and we tried to manage this whole area together and compare notes and so forth. So we think that you should call us.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And we have each other to rely on and to bounce ideas off of and, share a little wisdom here and there. But yeah, and I just closed a sale. I had the buyers, and it was somebody that was moving out of the area. I don't know the reason for their move, but they discounted it heavily because they're already in North Carolina and they're done.
Right.
So I think it might have been to be near family for some reason, and they accepted a pretty aggressive offer.
Right.
And so we're seeing more of that too. Is it gets somebody who's one, not afraid to put that offer in, but two, understands how to do it. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a
And
wrap.
we hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and a very calm, enjoyable weekend. And we'll talk to you next month. Bye bye.